So today I am chatting with the ladies, female entrepreneurs, gurus of the industry. I have Teresa Aya Forsten Yeboah. Yes, Teresa Aya Forsten Yeboah, Mrs. here with us from Aya Clothing. And then I have Joyce Body Otri from Posky Class, Mama Posky. Yes.
Original one.
Mama Posky Bakope. Alright, so let's get going. Joyce, how did you start your business?
I actually started my business in 2006, and that was during my third year in Ashesi University. I started sachet water business. That's basically how I started my business.
So you were selling sachet water?
Yes.
On campus?
Yes.
What else?
Along the line, I went into canned drinks and I added cakes to it.
Cake?
Yes.
Interesting. So you're selling cake to your colleagues?
Yes. But that, unfortunately, that business couldn't last because I'll put in quotes, I was too greedy. Greedy in terms of I was making almost 200% profit.
Hey.
And I didn't think the business would end because cakes don't last for a long time. And so
you're making 200% profit?
Yes, I was too greedy at that time.
Robin does well.
Yes. The reason why I said that was the price at which I was getting the cake was very, very low, and some of the students I knew were buying theirs at a high price. So when I offered mine to them, they couldn't ask for any reduction because they felt it was a good deal. And I mean, sometimes that happens in business when you are ripping people off. You think that's it, you are sailing, but
all those who used to buy your cake will come back for it.
Oh, definitely, because unfortunately the business couldn't last. I had the cake. I mean, when students take it for a long time, they lose interest.
That doesn't mean that their refund is collapsing.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'm exaggerating on 200% though, but I meant to say sometimes you'll see an opportunity and you feel that, okay, I'm grabbing this. This is what people want. I'm taking advantage of people, but I mean, it's a sin. We shouldn't do that kind of business.
Thank God you repented.
Yes, I have repented. Yes.
Hallelujah.
Amen.
So Joyce, how did you identify that business opportunity?
Okay, so with the sachet water.
Well, I know most of your colleagues by then, I mean, they were all doing that sort of thing, that you chose to sell while you were still studying.
Yes, I would say from my background, both parents are entrepreneurs, and growing up, I used to see what they do, but I wasn't interested in that business. I actually wanted to be an engineer, but quite unfortunately, it has to do with science and it had to do with maths, and those were the two courses that I felt was like a Bible. I have to obey the rules. And my maths was the ones that you could easily just pass, but I didn't have any future. But I didn't know I'll one day be an entrepreneur because God had destined me for that. And there's also an advice to people. You might be going through certain challenges, but that doesn't mark your downfall, because I was someone who wouldn't have gotten anywhere close to maths. But I'm an entrepreneur today. And I give thanks to God that I didn't say I was bad in maths, so I'm going to rule myself out. And it depends on whatever everybody says you are bad at. Forge ahead and you are definitely going to make it. Because today I believe, and I think most people see me and get more inspired, because I'm someone who, though I was having challenges in that, I didn't let that rule me out. I would gladly say I had 40% in these marks. I wasn't shy. That's what I got. I need help. And asking for help is something that up to date I always do. And if I have to pay for help, I'll pay for help, because I believe that's the only thing that will be a ladder for me to get to where I'm going to. And that's one part of the entrepreneurship journey. We don't know it all. Posky actually was my nickname in school.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so after I'm Pokia.
Oh.
So Posky just came out of my mouth one day. I don't even know what the SKY, but I believe the sky is not my limit. So Posky, that's it. Yeah, Posky.
Okay, Posky.
No, please, it wasn't. Actually, I just created the name right away. Yeah. So yeah, Pokwa Sky. So sachet water is what I started with, and I migrated into selling canned drinks. And along the way, I added cakes to it. And someone may say, where is the cake coming from? There was this particular vendor at Circle. I usually pass because that's where I normally take Cho to Dankwat Circle. And most often I get there and she brings the cake very fresh and people were trooping. So one day I said to myself, I'm selling these canned drinks. What can I add to it that students will get more interested in? Because bread is something that I couldn't market, because bread is bread. We always see bread every day, but something with class, something that I could easily market, something that is straight from the oven. So my marketing should work. And the cake, I would say the taste was very good and people actually loved it. And to tell you the truth, sometimes I get to the hostel, the cake gets finished, I take Chocho back to the vendor and sell it back to the students. So that was it. But as I mentioned earlier, my greediness, I had to pay for it, because it got to a time where I was offering the cakes for free. People say, please, we are tired. For food, they didn't even want it, because, oh, please. They were full. They didn't want it anymore. And that was what I would say I had to pay for being greedy, because people were trooping in. I didn't have any marketing tool then. I even forgot everything I learned in school there and then, because it looks like businessy, so that's the focus. But at the end of the day, I learned so much lessons for it that it's not always about money. Where do you place yourself as a business entrepreneur when you're offering a service to someone? Is the focus money, or is the focus serving the need of the customer? And I think the business model I had while I was in school, or maybe it's the practical business I had, really gave me a true understanding of what entrepreneurship is. And that was the stepping stone for me for finishing school and getting back into business, because I could have said that fine, I failed, my business collapsed, or I couldn't continue my business, so I'm not going to entrepreneurship anymore. But I had a true understanding of business failure. I had a true understanding of getting back into business when it looks like everything has failed. I had an understanding of getting back into business when my business partner says, I'm not going to work with you any longer, because we both have different interests. So for me, it's something I'm rallying around with, and I'm also a startup advisor on entrepreneurship. Yeah.
Let's talk about how you raise money, your initial capital. How do you raise it?
Okay, so my initial capital, I got it from the money my parents were giving to me. And starting my business, it was less than 1 Ghana cedi. So it wasn't something that was difficult to raise at that time, because it was something that I could easily fetch and start a business with. Yes.
So you did your small savings?
Yes. Yes. And still now, I still do it. I still have my susu box with me, because I'm thinking of some other business I'll start. Yes, yeah.
So how did you transit your initial business failed?
Yeah.
How did you get the other business moving towards?
Okay, so by the grace of God, I didn't lose out my money, though I lost out on some products. So some of the money I had, I won't say I used all, but I started with part of it, and I started with stationaries. Yes, so with the stationaries.
So now you don't do cakes and pure water and canned drink?
Currently, I still do pure water alongside my business, because it's something that always reminds me of how I started. So yes, yes. Though I'm not really focusing on too much profit in that area, but it's something that always reminds me of how I started. Actually, yes.
Interesting story. I have Forsten.
Yes.
Yeboah.
Yes.
What's your story?
Okay. I started from my aunties from Takade. After national service, I decided to settle in Accra.
So yours was after you were out of school?
Yes.
You didn't start from school, as said.
No, school. I was doing a different business altogether, because I was selling jewelries, tom-tom, chocomilo on campus.
On campus?
Yes. But that is the fashion that was after school. After national service, I decided to settle in Accra.
No, before the fashion 10, how were you selling or marketing the tom-toms and whatever on campus?
Yes, you know, since Chocomilo was expensive outside campus, because normally we had our provision shop outside the campus.
Okay.
So I decided to sell the toffees in class. So
in class?
Yes, in class.
Why you were selling toffees?
Oh, you know, sometimes when you are going for lectures, you have to go in and wait for the lecture. So I was selling it in class. So mine was expensive though. Maybe the difference is maybe I will just tie 3. If one is supposed to be 10 pesos, then mine will be like 3 for 50 pesos.
Okay.
So if you don't want to walk to the campus gate to go and buy the tom-tom and the show, then you have to buy it for me in class. And then I was selling jewelries. Then I will maybe every 3 weeks I have to come to Accra come and take the jewelries and then go and sell on campus.
Wow.
So that was where I was also getting like some money to support myself, so that I would not depend on my parents whilst I was on
That's
campus.
interesting.